You know, Rob, one of the movies that a lot of people have been talking about for a long time certainly carries with it a big nostalgia factor is Space Jam 2, or what is now known as Space Jam: A New Legacy. Now, I am a little bit in the minority of people that I was never all that big on the original Space Jam. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't dislike the original Space Jam, but it's never held that cult classic spot in my heart that it seems to have for a lot of people. I am also a big LeBron James fan. I'm a big LeBron James fan. But I saw the previews of Space Jam 2 and all that kind of stuff. And even though I'm a big LeBron James fan, like for me, nothing about the trailers looked any good to me. Nothing looked compelling. I mean, it certainly looked like it would touch on those nostalgia nerves that a lot of people like to have because of the original Space Jam. And that's cool. But honestly, as far as things on its own merit, nothing about it looked appealing to me. But a lot of other people seemed excited about it. And that's great. Well, the very first reviews for Space Jam have started coming out of Australia and New Zealand. Why they've seen it first, I don't know. But the first handful of reviews for Space Jam has started coming out of there, and we have our first kind of sense to it. It's sitting at 50%. Now, I'm going to tell you this. That's better than I thought. That's better than I thought. Now, you also have to keep in mind, this is only a couple of handful of reviews, like 8 reviews coming out of Australia and New Zealand. But, you know, some of them are saying things like one of the top Rotten Tomatoes critics from news.com in Australia, When I Mars, writes, "It's hard not to feel like you've been swimming in some WB marketing executive's wet dream for 2 hours." That's not a positive thing. But at the same time, going to the other extreme, Dave Lee of Dave Lee Down Under, he writes, "An absolute slam dunk." Get it? Slam dunk. Anyway, loaded with Easter eggs, classic tune gags, and a punch of nostalgia. Fans of the original will have a blast, while new audiences will be blown away by the modern spectacle as it moves its bigger and bolder direction. So, I mean, 50%, a couple of them really slamming on the movie. Some of them saying, hey, it's all right. And 1 or 2 are saying that they thought it was really good. And I'll be honest, this is right around where I thought it was going to be. Look, again, I'm not terribly excited for this movie. I will check it out, obviously. But yeah, this does nothing to increase my excitement. Rob, you're hearing these reviews now coming out. It's sitting at about 50%. Is that where you thought it would be? Do you think it would be higher or lower at this point? There are still a lot more reviews to come, obviously. And where's your particular anticipation level for Space Jam 2 right now?
This might, I don't know, be sacrilegious. I was not a big fan of the first Space Jam. I thought it was a bit of a mess. It was kind of all over the place. And I thought that, you know, I grew up watching things like the Looney Tunes, and I loved the creativity of those cartoons, and I just didn't think Space Jam lived up to that. Now, to be honest, I was pretty impressed just how many pop culture references and characters they jammed into that trailer. So I want to see this movie, but it's not surprising to me that it's only sitting at 50%. Because, you know, I want to see it just because I'm curious, and I'll watch it, but I'm, you know, my level of excitement, John, to be honest, is just not very high.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah. And as I said, look, it's at 50%, but that's only counting 8 reviews only coming out of like Australia and New Zealand. So there's a lot more to come. We'll get a better idea about what the general consensus is here probably in the next couple of weeks. Question is for you guys. What do you think about these couple of quick handful of reviews that are coming about it? It's sitting at about 50%. Is that where you thought it would be? Do you think it would be higher? Do you think it would be lower? Where's your anticipation level for Space Jam 2? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.